Hey, hi everyone. Thank you very much for attending today. And in keeping with the theme of the webinar, the Fast and Furious, we are just going to put the pedal to the metal and let James jump into it. So James, it's all yours, man.
Oh, awesome, Mel. Thank you so much, and thanks to Classic for having me. I'm just gonna kind of go into a little bit here and make sure that everybody can see my screen. I believe that you can. I'm going to go into a little bit about what Brumark is and who we are. Our team of exhibit flooring experts works really hard to develop solutions that meet the unique challenges of our trade show industry. And over the years, that's enabled Brumark to lead the industry with innovations like 10-foot carpet, printed flooring, and the latest is our flooring manufacturing capabilities. Our dedicated team is completely committed to your success, which drives client-centric mentality. We have multiple locations across the United States. Our labor team has collectively 70 years of trade show flooring experience. But that's enough about Brewmark. Let's talk a bit more about hottest trends, and tips. So first off, we're going to get into carpet. Of course, I'm sure everybody knows carpet is indeed still the go-to for most everybody in the trade show industry. In these times, especially, exhibitors still a bit unsure about whether a show's going to kick off, whether it's not going to kick off. They want to save money. They want to make sure that they stay on budget. So carpet is one of those tried and true uh, materials that allows them to do so. Um, 32 ounce is still that mid grade is still by far the most popular ounce weight, making up 65% of all carpet sales so far. Gray or anything in the gray family has by far, again, been the most popular trend of 2022 or since trade shows have come back since COVID. Um, Interestingly enough, no matter the color palette, designers will always also still lean towards a certain number of colors. Um, the uh, the carpets that we offer are all manufactured in-house as well. And there are tremendous amount of colors to choose from, as you can see on the chart. Next, we'll look at carpet inlays. So custom carpet inlays, and just by all means, I think we're going to have some time at the end to do questions. So if you do have any questions, please please write them down, and we will address all of them at the end of the session here. So custom carpet inlays is a great way to ensure that you're keeping up with what the designer's looking for, what your brand expectation is. It invites customers into your booth. It creates explanations as to what you're looking at. It also defines space. Designers, while many are still coveting the budget dollars, some are taking this opportunity to find unique ways to interact with their audience utilizing their custom inlays. You don't have to break the bank with inlays. Complex inlays to create an inlay that achieves the goal. For some, this goal is attracting potential clients. Others may be a dedicated entrance or a product spotlight. So there's a tremendous amount of options to meet every budget. Inlays are, while we're not seeing 2019 numbers as of yet, we are seeing a tremendous amount of inlays happening so far since COVID, since the return of trade shows, especially 2022. As the year progresses, we are seeing more and more budget spend. We're seeing higher dollar orders. So let's talk about custom colors. I've mentioned previously that designers really like to lean towards the similar 5 to 8 colors that they'll typically go to. Custom dye carpet allows for tremendous creativity. Um, in this example, as you see here in this photo, the client has wall extending out through the flooring and all the way out to the aisleway. This is inviting their customers in. It's inviting them in, creating a pathway for them to come into the booth, for the attendees to come into the booth. It's a custom color. As you can see, I've developed, I put a PMS chart up next to this photograph. We can custom match to any color. Virtually any company should be able to custom match to any color. The example here is only one of many that we do every year, and you're not limited to one color either. Okay, while custom colors can be expensive, the impact that they can have from staying on brand and creating that unique experience could be far worth the expense. All right, so let's move into FlexFloor. So FlexFloor, again, I hate to keep sounding like a broken record, but gray is the most popular color that we have in our product line and that we've sold over the past few months. We have also introduced a completely new palette and style, keeping up with innovation as we all like to do. Sheet vinyl is becoming more and more realistic. It is looking more like real wood every day, but with simplicity in installation. So if you do plan to use vinyl material outside, right, for it's great for events, it's great for indoor applications. If you do plan to use vinyl outside, which we have a lot of companies that do, exhibitors that do, make sure that you get with your representative, whomever that might be. The reason I say is there are a lot of precautions. There are a few precautions that you need to take and characteristics of vinyl that you need to understand prior to using that outside. Okay. We've also used sheet vinyl in a number of permanent installations as well. It offers quick install, great color palettes, and easy to repair and or replace once you've had it down. Vinyl, especially after COVID, has been used a lot due to its ability to be cleaned easily. It's easily cleaned. It's easily sanitized. So vinyl is an extremely good product to use if for any reason that is safety and clean is a part of your trade show package. So let's look at some custom flex floors. Now, I mentioned earlier that just a minute ago that it's easily cleaned. So custom flex floors, you can bring multiple styles together. Well, you can't seam vinyl together like you can with carpet, right? It does have a cold seam tape which holds it together as you roll it up. And after it's shipped and unrolled at your destination, you can double face tape everything down. And as you can see, create some very unique looking inlays. The look of different wood grains together, solids, or even a wood grain with something custom printed really makes for a stunning booth. It's clean. You can create multitudes of different designs, shapes. Again, as I mentioned earlier, product spotlights or entrances into your booth. We're all about experience, I believe now. I think as we move through the resurgence, I guess, and I hate to say it that way because we've been off for 2 years, but as we move through the resurgence of our industry, experience, um, uh, the brand, the attendee immersive experience is been a high level and high on everybody's list. Now that we're back to face, everybody understands how critical face to face is, and they want to make it the best possible. Flooring, whether it is vinyl, carpet, turf, you name it, there are ways to make something immersive, that fifth wall, if you will. Um, so don't don't confine yourself to a box that you normally would stay in with flooring. There are tremendous amounts of possibilities out there for you. Custom printed vinyl happens to be one of those. We do have a proprietary product called Image White that we developed specifically for our machines and our use. As you see here in this picture, the largest picture there in the center, this is an immersive experience, and you see the printed application brings you straight into this LED tunnel, which gives you an inside look, if you will, of inflammation. Obviously, this is a pharma company, but the printed vinyl, we are seeing a ton of printed vinyl. We're probably close to 2019 numbers, if not over 2019 numbers. And I know I said earlier, folks are watching budgets. I think that there are more companies, especially in the pharma field, that are willing to spend money. Probably because they have lots of it right now, but they're willing to spend money, and we're seeing a tremendous amount of of printed vinyl leaving our facility. It can be cut. It can be um, it can be inlaid into other flooring types, and it's not only for pharma. I say that. Uh, there's a picture here at CES. This bottom right picture is CES. The upper right picture is kitchen and bath. And I'm not sure the show that the large center photograph is in. However, I know it's a pharma show. Don't be afraid to utilize multiple different types of vinyl flooring and or carpeted flooring to increase your presence at on the show floor. You can definitely create um, fantastic looks, feels, and obviously create that wonderful experience for your attendees. Additionally, we there is plenty of pad options. We had two pad options available to you for all of our vinyl. Graphic overlays. Graphic overlays, and to be very honest, I have just recently in the past, well, 2019 and some in 2018, the last part of 2018, 2019, have we really started seeing a tremendous uptick in graphic overlays. And maybe you're asking yourself, what is a graphic overlay, James? A graphic overlay is utilizing a standard floor. Typically, it's going to be vinyl, and we print a either walk-in wall, or we print HP vinyl with a floor guard that goes on top of it. It's weeded and pre-masked so that you can apply it directly to your trade show floor and give yourself the opportunity to either custom brand, customize, name, identify, separate your specific areas and floors, but have the ability to pull those graphics up after the show and be left with a plain base floor for use another time. I see folks using these where they may represent one company that spans multiple industries. That message may need to change. They're taking cues and utilizing that flooring space as part of their marketing efforts, not only just the graphics, the overheads, the walls. They're utilizing that flooring space in every market that they go to And this allows them to not have to spend money for flooring on every industry, just the overlays that are specific to that industry. So this may be something that you can definitely use. It's easy to install. If you're using a professional to install it, it doesn't take hardly any time. I personally have done multiple installs, and it costs a lot less than actual printed flooring. Awesome. Let's move into some turf. Turf, bring the beauty of outside inside with the durability of turf. We've done many projects using turf. As you can see in one of these pictures, the puppy bowl, which most of you saw. That I believe that was 3 Super Bowls ago. You probably saw it on TV. But turf is a bit, while turf is a bit more expensive than other materials that you can use, in the trade show environment, it has a lot of impact. Turf is purpose built for durability, for weather, and in some cases, comfort. No matter the environment, there's a turf that will fit the specific need. Just make sure that you consult a professional to ensure that the right selection is made for what your intended use is. Let's say that you want to be able to recycle that material after the show. Not every turf has the ability to be recycled. Let's say that you want to use that turf outside. Not every backing is suitable to be used outside, especially if, let's say, for ConExpo, you need something that you can Hilti gun into the concrete or into the asphalt. Not all turfs are going to work best when Hilti gunned into the asphalt. They have the tendency potentially to rip out. So the right turf, there's turfs that have all different types of colors as well. As you can see, we've done multiple inlays. Now you might ask a question, and I pose it here in my bullet points. What about painting? I've had we've had a lot of clients that have asked us to paint their turf. Painting turf, while doable and is done all the time in professional sports, is not the most practical in a trade show environment. The paint is going to flake off um, as it gets foot traffic. So not only are you going to have to deal with that flaky paint, but you're also going to have to deal with the fact that your logo that you've painted on is now degrading over time. As the more people walk on it, the worse it's going to degrade. Painting requires specific ventilation. It needs to be laid out. It has to dry. So uh, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. There are printers that can print turf. I personally don't have one, but there are printers that will actually do it. You have to have a very specific pile to the turf, and you have to have a printer that is not as susceptible to head strikes. So probably a lot more information than you wanted to know, but as you can see here, there are lots of different applications to be utilized. You can inlay turf with carpet, and again, the right backing is necessary in order to do that with standard uh, seaming capabilities. Okay, so turf can be a phenomenal uh, way to create ambiance, to create uh, a specific design element within your booth space. So let's talk a little bit about infusion dye carpet. That's our specific Brumark specific brand name. However, the proper term is truly a commercially printed material. If you've been to any hotel, if you've been to any casino. If you've been to any FEC, Family Entertainment Center, you've likely been on a commercially printed carpet. Uh, the difference between a dye sub carpet and a commercially printed carpet lies in the process. For one, the process for dye sub is a dye sublimation machine and heat transfer. With commercially printed carpet, there is no transfer. The ink is applied directly to the carpet. Now, the carpet does come 12-foot wide, and it only prints at a maximum of 75 DPI. But what it gives you is the ink is the saturation level of the ink goes almost all the way to the backing. So the longevity of that carpet, the useful life of your commercially printed carpet is years, not a couple of days for a show. And as you can see here, it's used a lot in commercial applications, but we do a tremendous amount of printing and have had extreme success utilizing this process for trade shows who want maybe a very complicated inlay that really, from a labor perspective, would be best done as a commercial print. Or as you can see here, they want a wood plank. Um, the possibilities are endless with this particular process. Um, you can put it in mobile trailers. You can use it in events. You can use it in retail spaces. This particular process really lends itself well to our specific industry. And next, we're going to go to some custom solutions and unique spaces. We all have run across these special occasions or special situations that might require a unique solution. And as you can see here, there are a number of solutions that we've done um, that you may be able to take away and put in that, filing cabinet and take out for a rainy day. And I'll explain each of these situations. One of the situations is the large center picture. They needed an inexpensive wood-looking floor. Did not need wire management. It needed to go down extremely fast, and they wanted it to be. They wanted some of the grass to come through the wood, so it looked like it was kind of again in an outdoor setting, even though this was inside. So we took 4x8 sheets of plywood, placed them on a CNC. We did quirks in there to make it look like wood planks. We made it a random pattern, and then we clear coated it and laid it down and double face taped, right? So each had a way that you could connect the sides, but it simply just double face taped. And everywhere you see turf, we routed that out on the CNC. So it was a very quick and easy installation there. The Cadillac that you see, the client wanted a ice rink. Essentially, they wanted it to look like an ice rink. This is at Deer Valley, Utah. So we had a custom printed floor. The kicker here is the application and the installation. We had to install this, or it was being installed in the dead of winter. So there are unique challenges that come with installing floor in 35-degree, 38-degree weather, and then sometimes below freezing. And in the bottom right picture, you'll see this is Google I/O. They wanted a boardwalk that went through the entire middle of their outdoor activation, their outdoor trade show. So there was staging underneath all of this deck, and it was pre-stained 2x6s. The designer provided us a design of how they wanted each of the planks to run, and we utilized the stages underneath as a platform so that you wouldn't have to come and build stilts and create a bunch of understructure to ensure that it was a safe environment. So again, unique situations to special occasions, or unique solutions to special occasions, are not uncommon. And even in today's world where our budgets, budgets come into play, you want immersive experiences, you name it. There is a definite solution to every single problem that we have. And as a trade show industry, I think you'll find we're very well suited to find those solutions. I'm going to run through. I was asked a number of questions prior to this kicking off once the announcement was made, and I wanted to address just a few of those questions. One of the questions was about aisle carpet and the fact that we're seeing very few shows actually have aisle carpet, and what were my thoughts. While the industry has put, or in the beginning, they put out that it was for safety concerns, really and truly, the aisle carpet is primarily, no aisle carpet is primarily due to a cost savings measure. We were out of work for 2 years. The associations are trying to save money. Ultimately, it's up to the exhibitors and the attendees to contact their association, contact the general contractor. If you feel that you want carpet in your shows, that you're paying for it, you want the comfort for your attendees, you want the comfort for your exhibit staff. The only way I think that that's going to come back is the attendees and the exhibitors asking for it specifically to come back. Recycling, that's a hot topic. Recycling, I think, has been on everybody's minds for many years now. California and New York are probably two states that are making the most strides to getting to a place where they can recycle. California already has a program in place. It's called the California Stewardship Program. Every yard of carpet that gets shipped into, and turf that gets shipped into California, pays a tax on that, and it's something that we have to bake into every estimate that goes out if we know it's being shipped to California. But they have recycling centers spread out throughout the state of California. New York is looking into something similar, but we really don't have any details yet as to what the program's going to look like, what it's going to cost, or when it's going to actually go into effect. The biggest, I think, thing about recycling is the cost factor. There is a pretty high cost to recycle many materials. If you don't have a local source, then obviously it has to be shipped, it has to be trucked. There's a cost for that. Carpet specifically, the backing isn't really used in any uh, material that can be repurposed. The backing can be repurposed into another material. So there are fewer and fewer recycling centers outside of California that take carpet. It can be repurposed, however. We do work with local Habitat for Humanities. We work with folks that build houses for veterans. Where there's a number of different ways to utilize that, but I think our industry produces so much carpet that there's only so much that can be utilized for those particular programs. Vinyl is a vinyl is on the cusp of being recycled. We are working on a program, developing a program, but we are not quite yet there to make any announcements. But there is talks and work being done in the background to recycle sheet vinyl. Flooring or concrete in your trade show booth. Personally, I am not a big fan of concrete in your trade show booth, not because I'm a flooring manufacturer, but because the comfort of your booth staff, I think, is a key role in the success of your trade show. If your booth staff isn't comfortable, their first thought is, I don't want to be here. Their feet hurt. Uh, so a comfortable booth floor is going to create a happier booth staff. Additionally, your attendees that come in, they're looking for something that's comfortable, something that they can stand in and have a conversation and really get involved with what you're selling or what your message is. So personally, I'm not a huge fan of concrete, but I know that it's a personal choice, to be very, very honest. Cost, um, raw goods, supply chain, trucking, lead times, all of these are fantastic questions. And I think that we have all experienced and felt the rising costs across the board. They've been going up consistently over the past 8 months. We get a cost increase about every 2 months in every line that we run. Recently, there's just the cost of backing. We've had two increases in the past month, in the past 30 days. So I don't think costs are going to level out this year. I think we're going to continue to see rising costs for the remainder of this year until inflation can hopefully be can get under control. Supply chain, again, another issue I believe that we've all fell victim to. As far as the flooring industry goes, I think we are getting better and getting on top of our supply chain issues from a raw goods perspective and a manufacturing perspective. We are, I believe, close to being out of the hole when it comes to supply chain. Trucking, there's a labor shortage. There's a fuel, the price of fuel is just through the roof. I don't see the prices of trucking coming down anytime soon. But I think worse than that is the reliability of our trucking industry at current. We have enlisted the use of specialized carriers in many, many, many occasions to ensure that we have the right service level. Um, Palletized shipments more expensive, and only certain carriers are now carrying palletized shipments. So trucking, I think, again, is going to be something that we're going to deal with probably for the next couple of years, if not maybe a little longer than that, depending on availability of labor there. I think we talked a little bit about the trends for 22. Lots of carpet being used, lots of gray tones, lots of neutral tones in virtually all aspects of flooring. Inlays, custom graphics, custom printed stuff is very high on the market these days. I expect those trends to hold true through the end of this year and likely into next. I think it'll be towards the end of 2023 and towards the middle or end of 2023 before we start seeing your custom raised floors and other types of custom floors used and or looked at. So the rest of this year, and this is my final thought. I know that, and I think everybody probably on this call is bracing for the potential of a recession, and and how bad will it be? I personally think that our industry is going to hold strong. I feel like that the brands that are exhibiting right now have been out of the face-to-face marketing loop for so long that they are passionate about being on the trade show floor and having that face-to-face interaction with their clients. I'm optimistic that a recession is going to hurt us substantially. That being said, I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen. But I really feel like this year will continue to be strong through the end of the year, and the recession will start sometime fourth quarter, towards the end of the fourth quarter, and then we'll have to see what 2023 holds for us. I would really like to thank um, Mel and the entire Classic Exhibit team for having me on. I appreciate everybody listening, And hopefully you've taken some value away from today's presentation.
James, thank you very much today. Yeah. Um, uh, I want to open up the floor to anybody who has questions. So just go ahead and you can unmute your mic if you have a question for James. I have a couple questions myself, so but I'm going to give you a chance to answer those.
I must have done my job well, Mel.
You must have. You must have. I've got a quick question for you, James.
Shoot.
My question is, when you're not seeing an uptick in really kind of custom flooring, do you think it's really because you've got account executives who are unfamiliar with their options out there, or how often is it budget related, or it's simply a fear on the part of an exhibitor? Because it seems like custom flooring would be a natural for almost everyone. Why wouldn't you do it? It really brings additional kind of looks to your booth. I don't understand why more people don't do it.
It's a great question, Mel. And honestly, I think it's a combination of virtually everything you've said. You know, we've lost a lot of folks in our trade show world. A lot of them are new, young, and haven't been trained yet. To the cost, I think custom floors with rising increase in costs, the cost is a bit more than it has been in the past. And I think the fear, there is still a potential fear of a show canceling, right? So there is there is the lack of knowledge, there is the cost factor, and there is, I think, still companies are being a bit cautious on what their spend is, how they're spending their money. Again, which I think you'll see in the graphic overlays. A lot of the graphic overlays are being done so that they don't have to spend that extra money in specific custom flooring. They can change their flooring up every time they have a trade show, and it's a fraction of the cost.
Hey, James, one last thing. Go ahead and share your email address, and I'm assuming you guys will be at Exhibitor Live. So, what's your booth number at Exhibitor Live?
It is 1425, I believe.
All right.
You called me out on that one. And here is my contact information for everybody. Sorry, I stopped sharing my screen one slide too early.
All right. Thank you very much, James. We appreciate your time for today in the Fast and Furious series. And if anybody has any additional questions for James, please reach out to him directly. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day.
Thanks, James.
Thank you, guys.